Hey again, this is Living in the Woods with Täxt, episode 19. Right now it's morning in my new location, close to my job. Missed my pond, but I'm already really loving the shade here. The shade here is no joke. It is 20 degrees cooler with the tree coverage that I have now. Right now I'm going up the trail that leads towards the plaza I work at. This trail does get dirt bikers on it occasionally. I did meet the other homeless guy and talk to him a little bit, the one that lives at a camp just further up this trail here. Yeah, he was really nice. He's older, he rides a bicycle, having trouble showering and doing his laundry just like me. Everything else I think he's got under control. He's just older and stuck riding his bike to get some of the things done. So, yeah, we've got a posted sign here. He told me that I should tear those down when I see them, because we can get in trouble if those signs are nearby. Of course, that sign I think applies to this section of woods on that side of the trail. It's the only place I've seen any of those signs, and since people have been tearing them down anyways, I wouldn't really know. But he did also warn me that you can get put in jail if they come across your site and you have a big pile of trash there, which is understandable. There is a bunch of dumpsters close by that I'm definitely using the dumpster, but I do live in someone's old spot and there's a lot of old garbage. So yeah, right now what I'm doing, the reason I'm walking up this trail closer to my work is because I'm hoping to find another side trail into my own spot that I can create. That way I don't get in trouble for the garbage, and also so I can avoid if a state worker with a truck ends up driving down this trail, because they are doing some development in the area, and it's anyone's guess when they'll have to come down here and survey again. Yeah, his camper is back in there. I don't really want to show that. I don't have any reason to show his camper. I'm not going to put his campsite up without his permission on these videos. You can see through the trees there, my plaza I work at. So I don't think I want it to be this close to the opening. But these trails are a maze, just a maze of dirt bike trails, and I get lost every time I go up these trails. But my feet are healing, and I already decided what I'm going to do for lunch. So I knew I could handle another morning hike. I'll definitely get that guy in the video next time I talk to him. I'll explain to him that I'm making a YouTube channel and all that. I talked to the other homeless guy last night. I'll probably see them every night since I work over there, and they both live close by. I really need to utilize the convenience store. But yeah, this guy, he doesn't drink or smoke weed very much. I can tell I'm the one that does all that. He seems like a pretty simple guy. He's just a cigarette smoker. And yeah, he rides a regular bike. He doesn't have a e-bike yet. He says he gets money from SSI. There's just not enough to pay his rent. To pay rent for anywhere around here, so he has to camp. He only gets, probably like $300 or $400, I think he said. So yeah, me and him should be able to help each other out a little bit. He definitely can't take a shower at my parents' house. It's probably what he would really want, is their shower and laundry, but they're barely letting me even use that. I only get to go there a couple hours a day. But they definitely help me with food. I don't really want the help. I want to try to get all my food on my own. You know, when they take me out to eat one day, I want to be able to pay for my share. So yeah, just because I was talking a lot, and it's really easy to get lost here. I just want to remember that there is, you know, a blue thing right there. And I just took one left. So the first good looking spot that I find, I may move to it so I don't get in trouble for that garbage. Yeah, it looks shady, but it's really not as shady as it looks because it's morning and the sun's over there. Most of the day, the sun's gonna go over here. So even though this would be close, even closer, it doesn't matter because I'm going to get up and do these morning hikes pretty often anyways. It was just that really long hike out of the old spot that I couldn't handle. Yeah, I wanted to build a shelter. I can still make an enclosure out here. All I got to do is either bring some poles and a canopy out here, or I can just, if I don't even want to bring the poles back here because I don't want anyone to see me do that, then I can just, you know, dig a hole and put the sticks in it like I did. I won't use big logs, but, you know, I'll just make my own poles, and the tarp is no problem to get here. I can definitely get some small kerosene heaters for food, but I've just been going to the gas stations for food. I don't like keeping food at my site. I'm kind of a minimalist. So wow, look at this spot. This is pretty chill. We're fairly deep in. Big old nice clearing right here. The trees don't have very large branches. Most of these trees are healthy. The only reason there's a lot of fallen ones is from this big storms. I don't know how big of a storm I can handle out here. I still have to think about that. If I make an enclosure, is it really going to be branch proof or tree trunk proof? I don't think so. So yeah, the weather, it'll tell me if there's a thunderstorm, but what is the wind velocity specifically that I should be watching out for? That's what I don't know. So this is an intersection of, well, it's an intersection of where someone was able to drive a truck through. Someone could still get here in a truck, but it's got a lot of open space. And I can put my chair here. There is actually a bunch of pallets over by the dumpster down there, so I can get my deck out here again too. I can have a deck again. You know, this is nice and soft. Put my tent right here. Probably not on that mound, but just put it right here. I always figure out with my pad, I just move it around a little bit and I find a nice comfortable position. I like harder surfaces sleeping anyways. But yeah, I really got to take a close look at this spot because it's really close and it looks a little bit more private. Yeah, it's thicker brush in here. More sticks fall down. This spot is like, there's no sticks. No sticks have been falling here. It's like a perfectly clear spot. I just got to make sure I'm not on the trail in case the dirt biker, you never know, he might even come up a trail like this. Those dirt bikers, I never went dirt biking, but yeah, they'll bash through these branches and everything. There's the last stick that fell down. I could survive a stick like that. But yeah, I think the tent right here in my mind looks good. The land isn't fully level, but I can lay it in a way and it's very soft. Okay, well, let's just go a little bit further down the trail. I won't get lost. I just have to make sure I don't go down that way. But yeah, I came from these tire marks right here. And I can either follow the tire marks or I can go down this narrow path. I think I'm going to do the narrow path because I'm looking for stealthy spots. Not places where someone can drive a truck. This area, I haven't seen any no trespassing signs. And I've been told by a lot of local Floridians that they don't make a big deal out of these trespassing signs. Really what happens here, and I'll tell you firsthand because I've gotten, you know, my own fair share of trouble living here over the years. But what really happens down here is you just get a cop that is not from Florida. And he's from another state. And some of those cops, you know, are respected by the other cops and everything's fine. They need cops. But if some of the other states, certain things are a big deal. Now, don't get me wrong, Florida make a big deal about a big wad of trash. But a typical Floridian cop is really not going to try to nail me over the trash that's over there right now. Just that little bit. But yeah, that's what happens. Once in a while, there's like a season where the cops are out, and then if there's too many out-of-state cops, and trust me, once they're here a couple years, they're just like the in-state cops. But I just know police transfer a lot, and it sucks when there's one from another state that nails you over something that's like no one cared about. Because yeah, it's a huge... I lived out in Washington State before I lived here, and they make a big deal out of things that probably are a very big deal out there. They can be a very big deal out there, but here, the same thing means absolutely nothing. It will mean nothing here. I like how Florida is. I just get bored here because I like adventure sports. There's adventure sports to do here, but you need money to do them because they take engines since there's no hills. Like dirt biking, you know, I could really get into that. But. So now I'm a little further in. I'm not going to go any further. I could definitely get lost if I go any further. I can already tell I'll get lost talking on the phone and everything, but here's another spot. Doesn't look too bad. Again, the truck trail's here, so the truck will probably drive by me anywhere I go over here. And yeah, hopefully the next video, maybe I will end up getting those pallets over here, have something over here, but for now it's just kind of me moving and checking out the new forest I'm in. It's surrounded by roads. It's not very big, but you can still get lost in here. It is big enough to get lost. It's kind of like 2 miles. It's like 1 mile wide and then 2 miles deep. And it's just so many trees that it feels like a pretty big area, so I don't mind it at all. I've got to be realistic and can't be walking out of a natural reserve like that. It's just too long of a walk. So, yeah, I find my way back to camp and I'll see you in a bit. Back at my camp. After that walk, I went over to the store and I got some bologna and some cheese fixed. And some bread also. I realized that I don't really have a full way of keeping anything ant-proof. These ants will figure out how to get even into those bags. So hopefully I can keep the ants out of it until I'm done with work tonight. But after work, I'm gonna get a styrofoam cooler. We sell these styrofoam coolers and that'll just keep the ants out of my food, also keep it in the shade and everything. That styrofoam, I kept debating whether or not to buy it, but it's really cheap, so I'm gonna get that. And just wanted to show you, all I'm gonna really show you in this clip is my friend Brian. Like I said, I can't fully accuse him. There's been more than just him living back here. This might not even be his trash at all. But he didn't necessarily dump here a big, giant, heaping, steaming pile of trash. It just looks to me like probably at some point something happened. I know his daughter actually, since his daughter lived with his parents had a gun in the house, and his daughter accidentally shot herself in the knee, his 5-year-old daughter. So it wasn't his fault fully, but, you know, since he was living too recklessly for him to be allowed to have kids at his house, you know, his parents took his kids. He was a little bit more, I don't know, I'm not, everybody's got their own path of life. And I think he was a little ignorant in some aspects and a little bit like a rebellious type of person. And I'm not like that. But yeah, that other spot, I like it, but I kind of like this spot. I think there's more shade here. I don't really feel like moving. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get a big garbage bag. And I'm going to pick up all of this garbage, because I think that they were probably pretty stressed out when that happened, and so they just left, you know, they just didn't care for a little bit. They probably felt very resentful. But yeah, all in all, he's not that bad of a guy, Brian, so I don't mind picking up his garbage here, just to stay here. It's easier to pick up his garbage, take it down to the dumpster over there, than it is to pack up my tent and move to the other spot. But yeah, I had to spend more money than I wanted to. I could have gotten a Crystal Burger and a little bag of chips, but that would have only lasted me one meal. So I got some bologna and some bread at least to last me a few days. So at least I can have a couple days. I don't have to walk anywhere to eat. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I know I've mentioned some things I may do. Some of these things I'm not going to be doing for quite a few videos, so I'm sorry that I'm mentioning it, but I want these videos to just be a very real-time type of thing, so you can really see what it's like to just be some stupid homeless white dude, you know, and I'm one of those guys that is really not, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm not depressed. I'm very happy being homeless. Some of us just don't have any freedom where we live, so this has been a positive thing for me. Very positive, you know. I really like it. It's so minimal. All I have is this tent, and I'm just gonna have a styrofoam cooler, and I can get a bag of ice from work. And yeah, if I put ice in the cooler, keep it in the shade, it'll stay. All my stuff will stay cool. I'm not even gonna fill it with beer, because it's just so easy to get a beer right over where I work whenever I want to. So yeah, I've never been the type to do that. I like to just get big bottles of beer separately instead of having a case of a whole cooler full of Busch or Heineken, or, you know, it's like too expensive, or then I'm going to just drink too much of the same beer. I like to change up the beer a little bit. But yeah, he really doesn't have much trash. I keep thinking like there's a lot, but, you know, it's just a can over there, can back in there, a few water bottles here. I know that, you know, things just weren't going that great for them, and they were different from them, but yeah, every time I talked to him, he was always good to me. Yeah, this shit, I don't feel like carrying this damn, oh yeah, I don't want to carry that down there. I don't mind any of this other shit, but that thing's going to be a separate garbage bag. Probably leave that one alone. I don't think I'll get in trouble if there's just one or two things here. But I'd be pissed if a cop came and accused me of all this garbage, where you can clearly see that this is old garbage from like 3 years ago. I've just been taking my garbage to the dumpster. But yeah, next video I'll try to record myself picking up this trash. Maybe I'll get one of those pallets. I'm really trying to rest. I've been pretty rough on my body the last few days, so I really do need to rest my feet. I still have this wound on my toe here that won't fully heal yet. It's taking forever to heal. Same thing happened on this toe, a vine wrapped around it, but that one's basically healed. But yeah, it's like when I walk, it hurts the bone in my foot. I did so much walking. Like arthritis in my foot, it feels like almost. But my back is fine, and everything else is fine. It's just my feet. So I'm not going to use my feet too much, but I'll keep recording and keep you up to speed with what's happening. There's always a possibility there's some random video I decide to move my campsite somewhere. But I like this spot, and I think it's easier to just pick up the trash. And yeah, you know what I'm trying to do, what I want to do. I want to be a minimalist, but I don't want to do anything more than get an e-bike with a solar panel power supply and just a bigger project. I want to be able to do my laundry and take a shower here at my camp. I've been brainstorming that, and I'm going to look more into that and find primitive ways of showering and doing laundry that I can do so I don't have to rely on my parents at all, since I can't. But yeah, if I can do all that, I can definitely make it with a e-bike with a power supply and everything, and have an air conditioner, laundry, do my laundry. And I could take vacations up to the beach, because sometimes it's not that busy at my job. They don't mind if I take a vacation. But getting another job up at the beach and living there is a different story, since my kids live in this area. So that's the end of that clip. It's just me at my camp. I'll try to record more walking around some of these trails, and I'll definitely have a video next time I see that guy who gave me the chargers. And that's it.